This episode is brought to you by LinkedIn. Psst, healthcare pros, word's out, and it's too good to keep quiet. Look, LinkedIn is revolutionizing job hunting, making it possible to search by specialty, shift preference, and salary. Endless scrolling is out. Whether it's a mental health therapist or dental hygienist, finding the perfect role is faster and easier than ever. Head to linkedin.com/healthcare and start your search today.
All right, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the TMossBoss Show. And in today's episode, so I got to thinking, I'm like, every time when I have said something about the video game X4 Foundation, it's always negative. It's always something negative. I ain't said something about the fan base. I ain't said something about the developers. I ain't said something about the game itself. It was never anything positive. So I am going to attempt to do a full-length episode where I'm saying good things about X4 Foundation. Because here's the thing. I don't hate the game. I think people will hear what I've said previously before about X4 Foundation. They were like, oh, he hates this game. He despises it. And if I have said that, I'm trying to think. I don't think I might have said that I hated the game. I can't remember, honestly. But here's the thing, though. I feel that X4 Foundation, if they were to, I guess, lower the difficulty tone, with that game and simplified it a little bit, I think it can honestly be one of the best space simulators out there. Like, tone down the difficulty, more so just with, just the amount of stuff, just have it where a lot of the things is not being done for you, because I like playing the game for myself, but just having it where stuff is a little bit more easier to understand, but at the same time I'm not remembering 100 million things, because I was getting ready to criticize the game, but no, here's the thing though, X4 Foundation, I feel like if you have the time to sit down, because I think that's what it is that when I'm streaming, I like to play a bunch of different games. Yeah, there might be that one game that I like to sit down and play and don't really play nothing else, but that's because I've got that game figured out. But when it gets down to X4 Foundation, I ain't got that game figured out. So I think if this would have been at a time and place, that's why I'm I wish I would have had a gaming PC years ago, when the other X games was out. So I at least could have played those games and then got a better understanding of what X4 Foundation is, because there's definitely a foundation there. It's just that it's difficult, bro. So, but no, I think if I wasn't a content creator, if I wasn't streaming, recording, all that stuff, and I think that might be something that I'll do down the road just to get myself more familiar with that game, is download it and just play it. Don't have it where it's I'm not streaming, I'm not recording, I'm not doing nothing. Who knows? It might be in that category as one of my favorite games, because I'm not going to say that it's the worst game that I've played, but I'm not going to say that it's the best game ever, but there have been times where I played games where I'm you know what, I would rather play X4 Foundation than to ever, if it was a toss-up between Elden Ring and X4 Foundation, yeah, X4 Foundation any time of the week. It doesn't. That will be the one game where I'm I'll do a marathon of that. I'll, post videos and stuff of that. I even see X4 Foundation being one of those games where I can base a whole channel off of it. Because I did that with No Man's Sky. I did that with Forza. It definitely can be one of those games where a lot of content can come out of it. And I think that's something that the developers, they should consider, is adding mods to the game, a mod, so because I don't think that game has a mod support or a Steam Workshop thing. Hold on for a second, let me maybe it does. If it does, I'm all right, I might have to check it out and stuff. But it does have a Steam Workshop. Yeah, then if that's the case, then I'm let's see what the people, what they got going on with this game. But yeah, I think that it's definitely one of those games where it's I just think that, yeah, I'm gonna have to check out that Steam Workshop, because I'm that's where my mind is at right now. It seems like that with the Steam Workshop that you see where that's one thing that I have to say that I can respect from the developers, is that you did add that, because they probably knew that the game was limited. And I think that that I wouldn't say that that's a down. Well, I wouldn't say it's limited. I say it's occupied more so by the tutorial, because you are gonna have to be playing a lot of that and stuff. And but no, overall though, I do think that it's one of those games where it's even though it's complex, that it could be one of those games where you can learn something out of it. It's like, look, man, it's hard trying to do this episode because the thing is this, it's like I feel like I've criticized the game, and it's like I'm trying my hardest to say nothing but nice things, but it's like this game has left a sour taste in me, bro. Like you guys need to understand, like I'm trying my hardest. Okay, so if you hear me fumbling on words, sound like I forgot something, or it's because I am actively trying to think of good things to say as I am doing this podcast episode. So, but anyways, I would say though, comparing it to No Man's Sky, is that I do like the visuals of X4 Foundation. I would have to say visually, probably one of the best games out there. Like I was just watching a video of somebody playing X4 Foundation, and I'm like, man, this game actually does look good. Like, no, it's one of those things where I'm like, nah, it's when you see a game that looks good and inspired, and I think that's just something that I need to do too, is just watch more people on TikTok playing it. Watch more people on TikTok playing it. Probably watch some YouTube videos too. But I just need to get myself more involved with the game, and I think that if I got myself more involved, like I'm open to playing the game again. I would have to say that I'm in a different headspace than I was back then when I was trying to play the game. But yeah, it's one of those things where I'm like, and saying something real quick to the fan base. If a person criticizes this game, that doesn't mean for you guys to sit around and argue with them and say dumb crap like, oh, it's a skill issue. You don't know what you're doing. Oh, this game ain't meant for you and stuff. Go play this little kiddie game or something, fam. At the end of the day, there are going to be people that criticize this game. I'm not the only one that's criticizing the game. I had to say I'm probably the only one that's being vocal with my criticism. But at the same time, it's like, I'm not. The thing is this: the game's not bad. It's far from being bad. It's difficult as all get out, but it's one of those games where it's like I think like if you're a fan of that game, it would be impossible for somebody to ruin your experience with the game or to I guess like alter your mindset. Like, because I think if I knew how to play this game, if I had this game figured out, down all that stuff, it'd definitely be one of those games that would be on my rotation of games I'm gonna play today or tonight while I'm streaming, so, but yeah, it's one of those games where I'm like, it's definitely takes a lot like to learn, but I have to say like there's been other times where there's other space games I played, like I have to say that X4 Foundations, it's a lot more polished than Star Citizen. I just had Star Citizen crashed on me, and that's one thing that I can say about X4 Foundation, that game's never crashed on me. Like I might have crashed in that game, but it's never crashed on me while playing it and stuff. So I will say that I do like that. Visually, it's a little bit more appealing. And I think like they do have like their ship customization. You know what? As I'm doing this, let's just go ahead and install this game real quick, because I I'm doing all this talking and all this other stuff, and I'm like, yeah, let me go ahead, because I am curious about the ship customization and stuff, because I actually did download the game. It was some time back. I downloaded the game because I was gonna play it. Like I had to say, like that headspace that I was in with the game, that I started leaving that headspace. But yeah, somebody left a comment and then they said something about me and stuff, and I was like, you know what, I ain't even gonna fool with this game. So but anyways, but no, and that's another thing too, is that I do see that the developers, they update this game a lot. Like that's one game where it's like they have like it's like a beta test for an update, and I'm constantly seeing that. Like they're all like, oh, like private testing, public testing, but you're constantly seeing this game getting updated. So that's one thing that I will say, is that the developers, their head is in the right place when it comes down to working on this game. It's just that they need to understand that there are going to be, you're putting it out publicly. So like, let's say you're at, I'm trying to think, like a carnival or something. There are going to be people that are going to check out your attraction. It ain't like, oh, it's like, oh, we're posting this on social media for those that follow us. But I'm like, there are going to be some strangers that come across your guys's game, and they're gonna be like, oh, what's this game all about? So that's what I'm saying. I'm like, it's one of those things where I'm like, the game, they need to have like a basic mode, and then they need to have like a advanced mode, and advanced mode being for the the veteran players, somebody that's play X1, X2, X3, X4 and all that stuff. And then the basic mode for people like me, where it's like, you want a simplified experience. You ain't trying to have it where you trying to do this and this and figure this out and that out, and trying to remember all these different things. But no, I wish if they had something like that, and I guess to just pass along some ideas. That right there, I'm like the basic mode and then the advanced mode and stuff. So it's like, okay, play basic. They go over the basics, or at least they have like a tutorial embedded into the campaign and all that stuff. So at least then it's like, okay, I'm not having to constantly go back and forth from the tutorial to figure out stuff. And then like, and if they do have something like that, then yeah, I'm definitely going to enable it, But from that to toning down the difficulty, because I think I remember when I went up against some guys in that game, I got killed every time I spawned back in, and I'm like, fam, I'm not trying to have that happen every single time. Like, the only good mission I had to say that I did was like, it was like a taxi mission where I had to just take some guy to like and that's one thing that they do have it, where it's the area that because it was like some spaceship highway or something like that. I'm like, I ain't never seen that before in a video game, a spaceship highway. But I think that's a cool thing, I think, because it's like from No Man's Sky, Star Citizen, Elite Dangerous. I'm trying to think of some other space games that I played. There's some games out there that I've seen, and I'm like, man, like X4 Foundation, it has a lot going on, and then when I be seeing videos of like people getting into battles in that game, I'm like, dang, bro, this game look crazy. I'm like, and this is X4 Foundation, so that's why I'm like, that's one game where it's, I know people will probably like, just when you hear like the videos and the podcast episodes, you think I'm like, oh, I avoided this game at all costs. Like, I'm not looking at this game, I'm not seeing that. Like, no, like, it's a game that I've kept on my radar, because I'm like, I would like to get back into playing it. It's just that it's one of those games where I'm like, man, like, it got a lot going on, and then it's like, then with the fans and stuff, it's just, they don't help, there's like that one fan where it's like, they cool about it, like when they talking with you about the game. And that's one thing that I'll say is like them dope fans, where it's like, they're not harassing you, they're not getting on you, I guess, for not knowing the game or criticizing the game or any of that stuff. Like, they can reason with you, they can understand you. They're like, oh, I definitely know what you talking about. Like, nah, bro, game is 100% complex. It took me a while to play. Like, you're sitting down having a conversation, and there's people like that where I'm like, okay, I trust you when it comes to teaching me something about the game. But it's like, you're not trying to force your teachings upon me and stuff. And it's just, and it's like, you got people like that, or they want to sit and argue with you, like that one dude I was playing. If like, in case of, it's like, if you're brand new to my podcast and you never did get a chance to hear that story. So I think I did do a podcast episode talking about it, but in case if you just kind of want like a quick little summary of that story and stuff. So a while back, I'm streaming. I'm playing this racing game called Test Drive Unlimited Solo Crown. Even comparing X4 Foundations to that game, and Test Drive, it's like, that's a game that I grew up playing. Like, there was the one Test Drive Unlimited 2, like an amazing racing game. But the issue is with Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown, like, even just with this recent update they came out with, had it where it was a casino, and I think they only had one thing that you could do in the casino. Maybe I just missed out on some stuff. Maybe it was a room or a floor that I didn't go to, but it's like they ain't have nothing going on with that game. And I'm like, this is supposed to be a racing game. That's like, and I feel like that they are trying to make the game basic, but you guys make the game way too basic. I would rather deal with a complex X4 Foundation than to deal with that, because I'm like, that's crazy. But anyways, so I'm playing Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown. I'm doing this race. It was just like a multi-car race. Like, none of the cars were like the same classes, but they all went the same speed and stuff. So anyways, I was just making a comment about a part of the race, because I'm driving a Mustang, and for those that are not familiar with like cars and stuff, muscle cars are pretty fast. Like, I guess, like, if you don't know too much about muscle cars or about cars, muscle cars, if you see yourself coming across a muscle car, just know that muscle car, it has some speed to it and stuff, right? And when you compare a muscle car to a Mini Cooper, that's not a fair comparison. That's like me trying to go up against Prime Brock Lesnar. Yeah, I might be able to hold my ground for a little bit. This is a muscle car that we're talking about. Okay, so anyways, so I'm racing. We're on this straight road. The Mini Cooper goes flying past me, and I'm like, fam. So I feel like I need to give you guys a little bit of a backstory. So this guy, he comments underneath my video, he tweets out to me, and then eventually joined my stream wanting to debate me about X4 Foundation. And I'm like, fam, I am not going to debate you about a video game that I don't even like. What sense does that even make? You know, so I'm like, man, no, please. I didn't even respond to the guy because I'm like, no, but I didn't know he was going to join my stream. Like, he was waiting for me to go live and stuff. So anyways, so he joins the stream. He's all like, hey, he was all like, let's debate about X4 Foundation. And I'm like, I'm not doing all that. My mind is focused on this racing game. So you can go somewhere else and do that pretty much, right? But he continues staying in my stream. So it's like, all right, whatever. I ain't tripping about it and stuff. So anyways, the Mini Cooper passes up my Mustang. I make a comment saying, realistically, there ain't no Mini Cooper in this world that can be the Mustang. And so he figured, oh, this is my chance. This is my shot. I'm going to debate this guy about Mustangs and Mini Coopers. So he's all like, oh, there are some fast Mini Coopers out there. And I'm trying to explain to him. I'm like, okay, yeah, there might be some fast Mini Coopers out there, but they're not faster than the Mustang. He's like, oh, well, on turns, they're faster. It doesn't matter whether it's a turn. My thing is this. If this Mustang is like, I'm trying to think how many seconds, like 10, 20 seconds ahead of this Mini Cooper, because, yeah, on a turn, it's like, yeah, the car is more accessible, a Mini Cooper is, but a Mustang, the speed, the power that car has, it's like, that's like trying to compare a Blue Angel jet to like a World War II or even a World War I jet. Yeah, they're in that same category, but we all know that a Blue Angel jet is going to be faster. I'm trying to explain that to homeboy. Yeah, he wasn't hearing it. He just wanted to be right. And he even sent me a video of a 2004 Mustang going up against a 2013 Mini Cooper. And I'm like, fam, you're trying to have like an old man race a middle-aged man. Is that a fair fight? Like, at that point, I just blocked that guy and I said, yeah, I'm not, I know what kind of person you are. And you're definitely that one that nobody invites out, you know, with the friend group and stuff. They're like, hey, look, man, if such and such gonna be there, I'm gonna go ahead and pass. Like, he be liking to debate you about random stuff. Like, he wanted to debate you about, like, rainwater and ocean water. And it's like, fam, who cares? It's like, nobody's not thinking about that right now. You just seen that it was raining and you wanted to debate me about the differences of what. Yeah, that guy, I'm like, you already know. It's people like that where I'm like, yeah, those are going to be the ones that ruin the game, you know. But there is this one dude, and I feel like I never really talk about this guy, but this guy, he joined my stream a while back, but I can't remember what game I was playing. I don't know if I was playing X4 or if I was playing another game, but yeah, he came through, I think. Or was I playing EVE Online? I was playing a game, I just can't remember which one it was, but anyways, comes through talking with me. He's somebody that's been playing did he play the old X games? I think he did say he played X3. I just can't remember if he played any of the other ones before that. But anyways, but he was cool about it. Like, he was he came through the stream. We got to talking about the game and stuff. He was telling me like his history with the game. It's stuff like that where I'm like, I'm so fascinated and interested in people when they be telling me their history about whatever it is. Like, the little fun fact about me and stuff. I'm a good listener. So you come to me telling me about your history with a game that I completely hate. Yeah, it'd be a game like Elden Ring, for an example. You can tell me anything you want to tell me about that game. It's one of those things where I will be interested. Okay, so I just won't be going out my way and playing it and stuff. But anyways, but yeah, overall though, it's like X4 Foundation, it's an all-right game. I ain't gonna say it's decent, I ain't gonna say it's good, but I'm also not gonna say it's the worst game that I've ever played in my whole life. You know, like, I would say at one point in time, yeah, the narrative would have definitely been different. I'm like, nah, man, this game is horrible. You know, it's stupid, it's this, it's that. But no, at the end of the day, it's just one of those games where I'm like, I think the developers need to understand that not everybody that plays this game works for NASA, you know, or it's like I'm an engineer of some sorts, or I done played multiple space sims. Yes, I have, but at the same time, it's like Elite Dangerous. That game has like a basic option and stuff. It can be difficult, but when you understand the basics, you pretty much got that stuff down. No Man's Sky, that game is basic. I'm trying to think, Star Citizen, that game, it can be complex, but but they do have modes on there where it can be basic. So yeah, I think X4 Foundation, that was something that I hadn't seen before in other space sim games, is that they had a racing mode. So I think I think next time I play that game, I might check out that racing mode. I don't know if it was like a seasonal thing or if it was permanent, but if they still got it, I'm open to playing that again and stuff. So, but anyways, with that being said, I will talk to y'all later. Thank you guys for watching and or listening. Stay tuned for the next episode. Like, subscribe, viewing this on YouTube. Follow or subscribe, viewing this on the podcast streaming service. And peace.